This presentation was prompted by a discussion on TDO Clinical about what are the steps needed to get really good photo documentation of a case. In such a discussion, it's always beneficial to identify the end we are trying to reach. As I mentioned in the discussion, the true end goes far beyond just the techniques of taking pictures. The true end is creating a culture of excellence that all team members participate in and contribute to. When you think about documentation, you want to think architectonically in a way that respects the ergonomic principles we have developed over the years that result in extremely efficient and effective teamwork. Specifically, the documentation protocols developed should follow the circle of influence principle, minimizing class 3, 4, and 5 motions, and allow both the doctor and assistants to maintain focus and attention on the case without any interruption or loss of focus. Looking at the telltale signs of an efficient office, several characteristics stand out. Clinical data is entered contemporaneously. 2, photographic documentation is not a separate activity, but happens seamlessly and apparently effortlessly. 3, there is no need to transfer media, discs, or card between entities, and all recording should occur seamlessly. In looking at the video we made 10 years ago, you can see Joy activate the camera naturally in the course of treatment, in accordance with my instructions. She's able to assist and document contemporaneously with no interruption in our procedure. We've done it this way for over 15 years, and you're able to document a case comprehensively without any interruption in your focus or clinical work. It's like a ballet. So this is a teamwork activity. It's a lot of coordination between doctor and assistant. So we've worked this way as a team doing our documentation for over 15 years. And it's not like this is anything new. And the documentation we get is world class. We don't take 10 pictures to get 5 good ones. We take 20 pictures and get 20 good ones. These are just some of the typical photographs that we get daily on every single patient. And the value this has for practice simply can't be overestimated. Being able to have documentation like this without taking any more time really enhances a practice in a way that it's very difficult to overestimate the value. So I want to cover what we use, how we use it, and why we work this way. What, how, and why. Let's start with what we use. I use 6 GoPro cameras positioned in various positions. I'm partial to the older GoPros. Older GoPro cameras are perfect for this, and you can get them on eBay for less than $50. They output high-definition video out of their HDMI port, and they require no computer control through their USB port, just typical USB power. So the wiring is minimal. We run USB cables to a portable USB power supply near the camera and only an HDMI cable back to our switcher, I will explain shortly. They require no card and no battery, so it really simplifies the wiring and maintenance. I have left my GoPros on for years. I never turn them off. Now I'd like to talk about how we use these GoPros and integrate them into our procedures. We have placed 6 of these GoPros around the operatory in various specific locations. So there's 2 wires that go to them, an HDMI cable that goes back to the switcher, and just a USB power connector that goes to the nearest outlet. If people only realized how simple this is, it requires so little effort. GoPro makes these articulated arms and clamps and other mounting devices that make this so easy. As a novice at this, you probably don't need 6 GoPros. 2 will probably be sufficient to give you the added perspective that you need to refine your ergonomics. After you realize the benefits, I can guarantee you, you will add more. These are the positions we have found to be helpful. All of the HDMI outputs go into our Blackmagic switcher. This switcher takes the HDMI from each of these cameras, from the Canon microscope camera, and the HDMI outputs from both my monitor and Joy's monitor, making a total of 9 HDMI inputs. So your real work here involves figuring out how to run 9 HDMI high-definition cables to a central location of the switcher. Blackmagic makes a 4-input switcher and a 9-input switcher. Both are very inexpensive. Back when we were doing video 20 years ago, these professional switchers cost $60,000. So people today don't realize what a gift this is. Joy has software on her computer that controls the switcher so she can see what each HDMI input is showing. The advantage of these switchers is that they can be configured to recall all inputs in high-definition video, regardless of which input is selected showing the output. The advantage of this is I don't need to deal with all the problems with deciding between shooting video mode or taking skills. I don't have to worry about video cards or removable disk. I keep the Canon on shooting stills mode, and the switcher manages recording the video whenever I want it to. Typically, I have it always recording, and the switcher outputs all high-definition video to a removable SSD where I can access the hard drive files anywhere where I have my video editing software. I use Resolve software because it's by far the best. And it's also free as opposed to Adobe's Premiere Pro subscription service. In the switcher software, if you click on ISO record all inputs, the switcher records the high definition video from all those cameras. So it is very, very powerful. So I record from all different angles at one time, pretty much every procedure. And the advantages that this has for you, for your team, will become apparent readily as you look at the videos with your team and try to improve. So that brings us to the most important part, the why we work the way we do. And I hope by the end of this, you will understand why we work this way. You want to study videos of yourself because constant improvement is really how you get better. That is why we work this way, because you see things that you always see things that you can do better. This is how Joy and I developed all these ergonomic efficiencies, by looking and studying videos of ourselves working. So it's a constant improvement that makes it so powerful reviewing this with your team. The best and most effective way of doing this is by studying video of working under stress in a normal clinical situation. And if you can discipline yourself to do this, the improvement that you will see in your team will be unbelievable. You won't believe how quickly your team will improve. And you make excellence part of your culture and of your team. As prior videos on YouTube have shown, training people this way elevates everyone. I've used this training methodology for almost 30 years and trained dozens of people this way. Early in our career, we videotaped every single procedure we did for the first 6 years of our microscopic practice. So doing this is nothing new for us. And here's just a few examples of how you can use these videos from various angles, and then look at it and see areas where you can do better. Everyone can improve everything that they do. And by looking at these various angled videos and the ability to videotape the screen that you're showing is important. That's why we record both doctor and assistant screen. And as you look at these, you'll see things you can improve on and get better at. And it really brings the staff together. For example, if you're finding your case presentations aren't what you thought you think they should be, and you think you said things and the patient says you didn't say them, if you actually go and look at your case presentations and your final reports, and you look at them from this very angles, you will see all kinds of areas where you can improve. Let me give several advantage examples in speeded up video so you can get a sense of how the various angles can help you in all kinds of areas: ergonomics, case presentation, final reports, note-taking. The list is endless. So constant improvement is what you're really looking to do. And if you actually look at how these cases are presented and the ergonomics of presenting them, you'll be able to see how you can do better. It becomes so obvious. So this is more than just taking good pictures. It's learning how to create a culture of excellence in your office and making your whole team part of that culture. So I think a lot of people think all these cameras are completely unnecessary. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about and are clueless on what it takes to develop team cohesion. All you have to do is try this, and you'll see immediately the value of how each of these views can really help you improve. This is how a lot of these ergonomic skills were developed by us, videotaping ourselves and sitting down and saying, okay, Joy, let's look at this. How can we get better? What can we do better? Where are the inefficiencies? So that's how a lot of this stuff was developed. It just didn't happen by accident. It happened by looking at videos and critiquing ourselves, and me listening to Joy on things that I could do better, making small changes and getting better. So when you're starting this, concentrate on collecting as many small wins as you can. Small wins are a steady and persistent application of a small advantage. So you can use the desire to take great pictures for much more than just the technical aspect of taking better pictures. It can make your whole team accumulate some small wins. And when you do that, I promise you, you will come to understand that the true end of doing this moves far beyond just taking great pictures.